class for a longer time. So here we'll understand that whenever we are working with the timer, we should first understand the machine cycle. Okay, what is a machine cycle? Right here, what will happen now? I have a pin number 18 and 19. Okay, so which are connected to a crystal oscillator. Okay, so this crystal oscillator, say for example 12 megahertz, it is not 12 megahertz but exactly is 11.0592 megahertz. Okay, exactly how much this crystal oscillator is generating? 11.0592 megahertz. Okay, so this is the input frequency for the microcontroller. Now, when this is being taken inside the microcontroller, there is an internal circuitry in the 8051 that will provide the clock source to the timers. Okay, so we have a timers register in the RAM. Okay, T0 and T1. Okay, now what will happen? This circuitry will provide 1/12 of the frequency of the crystal attached to the microcontroller. Okay, so whatever the crystal is being attached, that is going to generate the 11.0592 megahertz, and that is being given to a microcontroller. Now here we have a divider network. Here we have divider network, and that is going to divide the frequency by 12. So this is inside the microcontroller. Okay, and it is being given to time T0 or T1. This crystal frequency is of 11.0592. It cannot be only 11.0592. It can be anything. It can be 24 megahertz also. It can be 40 megahertz. It can be 80 megahertz, or it can be 100 megahertz. It can be anything. So it is up to what we are going to connect here. Okay, so that value will be divided by 12. So this, whatever the value we are getting here, that many cycles are called as machine cycles. That are called as machine cycles. Okay, so whenever it is being told to what is a machine cycle, whenever it is told to explain a machine cycle, then you should tell that the 8051 is having external crystal connected to it. This is external crystal connected to pin number 18 and pin number 19. Then the internal circuitry of the 8051, this is internal circuitry, is going to provide the frequency of crystal divided by 12. Crystal divided by 12. So this frequency is called as machine cycle frequency. Okay, machine cycle frequency. Whatever the output we are getting, that is machine cycle frequency. Okay, so let us calculate how much the okay. So let us calculate how much we will get here. Suppose, say, for example, a crystal frequency of 11.0592 megahertz is connected to the microcontroller, correct? Then microcontroller will provide 1/12 of the frequency, timer clock frequency. So how much the timer clock frequency is there, which is called as machine clock frequency, machine cycle frequency. So how much it is? Crystal oscillator divided by 12. So how much? 11.0592 megahertz divided by 12, that is going to be 921.6 kilohertz. Okay, 921.6 kilohertz. So if I convert this, I have a frequency. If I want to know the time, then T is equal to 1 divided by F. This one I know, correct? T equal to 1 divided by F. So how much? 921.6 kilohertz. So if I make it total T 1 divided by 921.6 kilohertz, then how much I used to get here? 1.085 microsecond. Okay, so this is my machine clock cycle frequency, machine cycle, or this is the time period. This is the time period. Say the machine, the 8051 ALU will execute the 8051 ALU will execute one instruction in one machine cycle. One instruction in one machine cycle. Then if one program is having 10 lines, then how much the time taken to execute one program of 10 lines? So total T is equal to what? Total T is equal to what is one machine cycle? 1.085 microseconds, correct? 0.85 microseconds. And how many instructions I have? 10 instructions. So for example 10 instructions are consuming 10 cycles, so one program of which is having a 10 instructions, that will be executed within 10.85 microseconds. So within 10 microseconds, or what we can say, within 11 microseconds, approximately 11 microseconds, the one program is going to be executed. Is it understood? Is it understood the machine cycle? Because this is very important now. If you understand this, then it is going to be very important to calculate the time period. Now we have calculated the time period. Say, for example, one program is having 10 instructions and one instruction is going to consume one machine cycle. Then how many machine cycles? 10 machine cycles. So what is the total time period? It is going to be 10.85 microseconds. So one program can be a 100-line program, a 1,000-line program, or a 5,000-line program. It can be varying. Okay, it can be anything. So depending upon the program length, the time of the execution of the program is going to be increased. Is it been understood? So this is directly have a connection with the timer registers T0 and T1. Now, so I will just summarize the things once again now here. See that timer mode register, there are two mode, M0, M1 for TL, for a T0, and M0, M1 for T1. Okay. Now, if it is 00, it is a 13-bit timer mode. mode 0 is being used, 13-bit timer mode. What will happen in a 13-bit timer mode? 8-bit is loaded into TH0 and 5-bit is loaded into TL0. So if I take a T0, it will be TH0, TL0. If I take a T1, it will be TH1 and TL1. Okay, so total it is 13 bits. It will be 13 bits, 13-bit timer. Then mode 0, mode 1. Sorry, this is mode 1. This is mode 2. So basically we are going to work with mode 1 and mode 2. Even mode 3 we will not work upon mode 3. So it is very much important to know the mode 1 and mode 2. Okay, so mode 1 is 16-bit timer. So what will happen? 16-bit timer, THX cascaded with TLX. So the value is going to be loaded into THX as well as TLX. Okay, if I choose timer 0, TH0 will be having the upper value, TL0 will be having the lower value. So by including these two, we will get 16-bit value. So that 16-bit value will give me 16-bit timer. Then mode 2. In mode 2 operation, it is 8-bit timer. It is only 8-bit timer. Okay. So if it is only 8-bit timer, but it is auto reload value, auto reload mode. It is a mode of auto reloading the value. What will happen in the auto reload value? TLX will reload the value held by THX each time TLX overflow. It means, say TL0 is having, say TH0 is having 25H. So this value will be loaded into, automatically loaded into TL0. Now what will happen? TL0 will start increasing one by one, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D, 2E, 2F, then 30, 31, 32, up to what? Up to FF. Then after FF, what will happen? This will go to, what will be the next count? It is a counter, right? So what will be the next count? It will be 0, 0. So whenever this is going 0, 0, whenever overflow has been occurred here, then again 25 will be loaded into TL0 automatically. So that is why it is called as auto reload mode. So only it is a 8-bit counter, 8-bit timer, because only TL0 is going to be counting the values here. TL0 is counting the value. That is why this mode is called as 8-bit timer counter mode, and it is auto reload mode. So that is whatever the value we are going to store into THX, that will be loaded into TLX. Okay, if I take 0, 0 or 1, 1. Okay, TH, the higher byte will be loaded into TLX whenever TLX overflow. Overflow means the maximum number is being reached, and then it is going for the newer number of maximum number, after the maximum number. Then mode 3 is that it is a split 16-bit timer into two 8-bit timers. So split timer. It means TH will be working 8-bit as a 8-bit timer. TL will be working as 8-bit timer separately. They are working separately. Okay. This is also 8-bit timer. This is also 8-bit timer. Here only TLX is an 8-bit timer. Here we have to combine both THX and TLX. Here we have to combine both, but only 8-bit of THX and 5 bits of TLX. This is the operation. Okay. So one more time you explain auto reload. Auto reload. Okay. So what will happen? mode 2 is 8-bit auto reload. Okay, basically it is 8-bit timer. It means only the T0 is there, no? I have to load the value into T0. How to load the value into T0? Either TH0 and TL0. Now, if I go for mode 1, what is mode 1? It is a 16-bit timer counter. So say 2500. I will not take 25. I will take F00. So this is complete one data. Now, if I increase this, what will be the next value? F01. If I increase it again, if I increase it for 256 times, then F. So this is a maximum number. Okay. So after this, what will be the next number? It will be 0, 0, 0, 0. So TH0 is also 0, TL0 is also 0. Both are working together. TH0 and TL0 are working together. In terms of T1, TH1, TL1. So both are working together, both are incrementing together. That is 16-bit mode. Okay. Now here 8-bit mode means only TL will be working. Only TL will be incrementing. TH will not increment. But what will happen? Whenever TL0 goes beyond the maximum number, whenever TL0 goes beyond the maximum number, then whatever the value inside the TH0, that will be loaded into TL0. Okay, say TH0 is having say some number F EH. So what will be the TL value? TL0, it will be FEH. What will be the next value? If I start the timer, then only TL0 will start incrementing. So what will be the next incremented value? F. Then again, if I increment it one more time, then it will be 0, 0. So whenever it is jumping from FF to 0, 0, then again FE is going to be loaded into TL0. So TL is auto reloaded with the value of TH. Here, this is 8-bit timer. That is why only TL0 is incrementing. Here in mode 1, both are cascaded. So both the values are going to be incremented. So it is only one value. We have to combine both values here. Okay. So that is why it is a 16-bit timer. This is a 8-bit timer only. Understood? Okay. So here, okay, next we will go. Now we have understood a timer mode register. Okay, it is used to control the operation modes. Now, along with that, we should know TCON register. This TCON register for the timer operation, only 4 bits are used. So this remaining 4 bits are related to external interrupts. What are the interrupt numbers? How many interrupts we have? How many external interrupts we have? We have 2 interrupts. Correct? Which are those? Interrupt int 0 and int 1. Okay, we have 2 interrupts. So these 4 bits are working to control the int 0 and int 1 pin. Okay, internal. So this is interrupt 0. This is external interrupt 0. External interrupt 0. That is enabling. Interrupt 1. External interrupt 1 enabling. So we will see these 4 bits only overview, but these 4 bits are main important for us for working upon timers. Okay, for working upon timers. What is TCON? TCON is timer control register. TCON is timer control register. Okay, so what is bit 7 here? The bit 7 is TF1, timer overflow flag. Timer 1 overflow flag. TF0 is timer 0 overflow flag. See, it is a flag. We have a flag bit no in PSW. Like that, here also we have 2 flags. Timer overflow flag. Okay, so this is related to timer 1, this is related to timer 0. Then what is a TR? TR stands for timer. TR1 stands for timer 1 run control bit. TR0 stands for timer 0 run control bit. It means now say I am working upon mode 2 timer 0. Okay, TH0 TL0 mode 2, that is 8-bit counter, 8-bit timer. Now TH0 is having FEH. Okay, now what will be the value of TL0? It will be FEH. Now I have to start incrementing only TL0, correct? Because to make it like that, I have to set the TMOD register for what purpose? Mode should be, mode bits should be equal to what? 2. M0, M1 is there, no? That should represent the binary value 2. Okay, so that is what 8-bit auto reload mode. So only TL0 will start incrementing now here. The TH0 value will not be incremented. The TH0 will be holding. The TH0 will be holding the initial value. Initial value. So this is the initial value which is going to be loaded into the TL0. So now FE is being loaded. Now I have to start to increment. No, this register have to increment by itself one after another. Then to make it that it is a timer 0. So that is why I will use TR0 is equal to 1. I'll make it 1. I will make it high. So if I make it high, what will happen? Say this is timer 0 run control bit. If it is 1, timer 0 starts. If it is 0, timer 0 stops. Understood? It is like a motor. When I press the button, the motor will start. When I off the button, then the motor will stop. So it is like that. So this is a timer. It will start incrementing and it will stop incrementing by using TR0. Okay. If I make this bit as 1, then this bit will start incrementing. First it will be incremented by 1. Fe will be coming to f. What will be the next value? F. And what will be the next value? F, 0 0. Okay, so now according to TR0, along with TR0, TF0 is also working. What is the function of TF0? Timer 0 overflow. So timer 0 means T0. Whenever overflow occurs, when the overflow will occur, see, it will become 1. Timer 0 overflow occurred. Timer 0 goes to its maximum and rolls over back to zeros. It means whenever the timer goes to the maximum value and rolls back to a 0 0, then TF0 will automatically go 1. Here I am setting it to start the timer. Here automatically 1 is being generated. Before it was 0. Now automatically it will be 1. When it will be 1? Whenever the timer value goes maximum and then it rolls from maximum value to the 0 0. Then automatically this bit will become 1. TF0, timer 0 overflow flag will become high, so that I can come to know that there is a timer overflow. So it is identifying, it is denoting. Okay, similarly, if I am working upon mode 2 or say mode 1, I am working upon mode 1, but with timer 1. Okay, now what? I have to load the two values, F, what will happen? FE. Now only thing, when it reaches 0 0, if at all I want to make it continue, I can continue, or else what I can do, I can stop the timer by writing 0 into the TR0. If I write it 0 here, then timer will stop counting the values. Okay, say now I'm working upon T1, FFFE, mode 1 is there. So now what I have to do? I have to start the timer 1, no? Then what? I have to write TR1 as equal to 1. Then what will happen? It starts counting from the present value to the next value. What will be the next value? The next value will be FF. So what will be the next value? 0 0 0 0. See what happened? Overflow maximum value has been reached. Overflow happened, and again rolling from maximum value to 0 0 0. Then what will happen? TF1 will become high automatically. So when it becomes high, either I can continue with counting the values, or else I can stop by writing 0 into TR1. By writing 0 into TR1. Understood? Understood these 4 bits? These 4 bits are important. Okay, TF is like a watchman. TF1 or TF0 is like a watchman. Okay, so TR1 is start and stop. So whenever TR0 is 1, the start will happen. So what will be starting? The counting the value, the whatever the value we have, that start to be incremented by 1 every time for every clock cycle. That is for every machine cycle. For every machine cycle, it starts incrementing 1 by 1. So what will happen? It will be 1. Whenever it reaches some maximum value, either in mode 2 or in mode 1 or in mode 0 or in mode 3, whenever the incrementing value reaches the maximum number and it rolls back to a 0 0, then automatically, so this is a watchman, no, the TF. So whenever it is watching continuously, TF is watching TL0. So TL0, when it reaches to 00, then automatically TF1 will become TF0 will become 1. Okay. Then again we have to make it reset. Whether these 4 bits are completely understood, so that you will understand the programs. If you have any doubts within these 4 bits, another 4 bits are the lower 4 bits that we will see only overview, but we will start with the programming of the timers now. Have you understood the TCON register and TMOD register? See, what are the registers involved? TCON register is there, TMOD register is there, and timer 0 register is there, and timer 1 register is there. Inside timer 0, TH0 and TL0. Inside a timer 1, it means it is divided into TH1 and TL1. Have you understood all these registers functions? Okay. So now, what are these other 4 bits? These other 4 bits are IE1, interrupt, external interrupt 1, edge flag. It means whenever, if the interrupt is occurred, then this bit will be automatically 1. If interrupt is not occurred, it will be 0. Same in terms of IE0. So I have pin number 12 and 13. So whenever there is a low signal, whenever there is a low signal upon pin number 12, then IE bit, this bit is equal to be 1. If there is no low signal upon this, pin number 12 is INT 0, no? Pin number 13 is, this is INT 0 bar, INT 1 bar. Okay. So whenever there is a low signal upon these pins, so INT 0 is related to IE 0. Whenever there is a low signal upon pin number 12, bit number 1 of TCON, bit number 1 of TCON will be equal to 1. It means interrupt 0 occurred. Interrupt 0 occurred. Okay. If there is a low signal upon INT 1, then interrupt 1 is occurred. Bit number 3 will be equal to 1. Okay. Bit number 3 will be equal to 1. Then INT 0, bit number 2 and bit number 0 are used to select what type of the signal we require upon pin number 12 and pin number 13. Say, if it is 0, we are going to see the edge, the falling edge at INT1 pin. Okay, so this is 1, IT1 is related to INT1. So if this bit is 1, it means we are looking only to the falling edge. If it is 0, we are going for low level at the INT1. So it means level triggering. It is selecting a trigger type. So whether we are considering a falling edge or whether we are considering a level edge. Okay, this one has been cleared in the DSB subject. What is a falling edge? What is a level edge, what is the rising edge. Okay, so low level edge, low level triggering. So here also same, IT0 is deciding whether we have this pin have to activated upon falling edge or upon the low level upon INT0 pin. Okay, so if you are going for a edge leveling edge, then it is then it is 1. IT will be equal to 1. If it is a level triggering, then it will be 0. 0 for level triggering, 1 for edge triggering. Okay. So in the next class, we will begin with the programming of timers. Let me take an attendance. Wait for a minute. Okay, I'll continue in next class. We'll start with the programming. If you have not understood, go through TCON and TMOD once again. And if at all not understood, ask me. Have you getting all the videos in the YouTube channel, in the YouTube playlist? I have shared you the playlist link so that every video, all the video you can get it. So are you going through that? Okay.